Have you ever wondered who would win in a fight between the Hulk or Superman, Batman versus Thor, or Spider-Man versus Wonder Woman? For this video I wanted to talk about Super Mission Force, an agnostic tabletop skirmish game created by Scott Pyle, and all the rule-based materials that I had to make to be able to play the game. This rule set allows you to play out battles between superhero teams consisting of characters that not even a multi-billion-dollar corporate deal could bring together, as long as you have the miniatures.
Go get him, Tiger! Big CGI fight coming up!
Maybe you have old hero clicks lying around or Lego figures, or maybe you have backed one of these giant superhero miniature games that have recently been on Kickstarter. I'm using the miniatures from the Cool Mini or Not game Marvel United, since I heavily backed both campaigns of the game, and I'm currently overrun with chibi superheroes. And any excuse to justify the amount of money I spent on Marvel United I will use. When researching this game, there wasn't a lot on YouTube, which is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. I think Super Mission Force is a ton of fun to play, captures the feeling of superheroes throwing down, and more people should know about it. Before you can start playing, you first need to build your character's abilities and stats. The rules boil down every superhero of the last 60 years into 11 archetypes: Archer, Blaster, Brick, Brawler, Construct, Mastermind, Mentalist, Metamorph, Controller, Speedster, and Wildcard.
Yes, right, yes.
Have a character who specializes in close combat or uses a special melee weapon? They're a Brawler. Someone on your super team uses guns or ranged weapons? They're a Blaster. I'm sure you could go into great detail and explain how the Thing, Hulk, and Colossus are all unique characters, but in Super Mission Force they're all bricks. For characters that can't be associated with an archetype, there is a wild card which allows you to pick from a list of powers available. Archetypes will also dictate your character's starting stats, movement speed, and damage slots. Damage is measured in two categories, body and psyche. The more body points a hero has, the better protected they are from melee and ranged attacks. But some characters can damage your psyche. If a character takes too much damage in either field, they are at risk of being knocked out. Once you have an archetype picked out, the character's abilities are broken down into one major and two minor powers. Major powers are your hero's go-to ability that gives them their standard attack or increases their stats, while minor powers allow special abilities or specific actions to set them apart from other characters in their archetype. Despite both being brawlers and having the Scrapper major power, Daredevil and Falcon are able to play completely different because of their minor powers. When two heroes fight, the attacker rolls dice based off of their abilities. Rolls of 1 through 3 are misses, 4s and 5s are hits, and 6s are crits, counting as 2 hits. Defenders then roll their dice, and some may be able to use abilities to avoid hits, but look for 4s, 5s, and 6s to block the incoming damage. 6s are always crits and count as 2 successes, whether attacking, defending, or anything else you are attempting to do. This all may seem like a lot to remember, but in the back of the rulebook, there's a character sheet where your powers and stats can be recorded. I ended up making my own character sheet that improved upon some of the problems I found with the one supplied. I'm looking at you, Comic Sans. I designed my character cards using recurring iconography and color coding to make them more accessible to new players. I broke each character card into 4 areas of information. First is the character's name, symbol, picture, and archetype. The artwork was taken from the cards from the Marvel United game. I capture the card artwork by placing them on a piece of paper, lighting them, and taking a photo with my camera. When I opened the pictures in Photoshop, I was easily able to color correct them by using the paper as a white balance and selecting it with a curves layer. The character photo adds a distinct flavor to each card and makes them pop out. The hero's archetype is written under their names, but I also use different colored backgrounds to tell the classes apart. Brawlers are green, Bricks are red, Blasters are white, and so on. Your Super Mission Force team can only have one of each archetype on it at a time, and the different colored cards make it easy to notice if you're breaking this rule. The second information area is the character's baseline stats: movement, body health, and psyche health. This arrow was taken from Marvel United, where it also represents movement. The distance the character can travel in inches is shown in the circle next to it. There's also this wing symbol I made for characters who can fly. The lifeline and brain symbols represent body and psyche health. I made sure to make these colors match the ability stats associated with them. This small graph shows the character's melee, ranged, and psyche powers, and represents how many dice they will be rolling when attacking or defending. Melee stats are all red. The punch icon represents how much melee damage the character can do, and was taken directly from Marvel United. The square and number represent the amount of dice rolled when attacking or defending, and the inverted square denotes the number of rerolls allowed. The orange scope represents the hero's ranged attack if they have one. The effective distance is written inside the crosshair I designed. The final blue line is Psyche abilities. All of the characters' powers are listed on the right side of the card. The major powers are at the top, and all minor powers are listed below. The abilities are paraphrased here to limit the amount of text, and the power itself is bold so it can be easily looked up in the rules in case there's any questions. Some of the more powerful characters with multi-leveled abilities, I had to make an additional playing card-sized amendment to their character sheet. At the very bottom is room for the character's background. This is needed for certain scenarios or RPG-like campaigns that can give advantages to some heroes. I make sure to have this stand out with a blue bar to set it apart from the rest of their abilities. I designed one final piece of detail for the backs of these character cards. I made a play on the Marvel United font and made it say Marvel Divided. Get it? Like Civil War? I thought it was clever. Anyway, I printed them out, double-sided, and laminated them. The other thing I had to make for this game were some of the effect tokens and counters. I designed my own using the ones supplied in the back of the rulebook for reference. For statuses, I wanted the ability that was affected to be color-coded to the stat on the character's card. I used a green background to show statuses that affect movement, like being knocked down or entangled, and blue for psyche attacks like Hex or Dispel. When the designs were finished, I printed them on a vinyl adhesive paper and cut them out with a 3/4 inch circular die cut. I bought some simple colored 1-inch bingo counters online and stuck the decals to them. Some of the counters were made double-sided, like these wound trackers. The flip side has a larger number on it, so you won't have to use as many as your character progressively gets hurt. I hope you were able to find something useful from this episode, and if you are interested in using the files I designed or just want to take a closer look, there's a link you can download them from in the description. The full rulebook goes into a lot more information about superpowers and missions that I didn't touch upon in this video. And if you want to see how I built collapsible city terrain for use with this game, check out my previous video.